When new model years arrive, manufacturers often list the changes they've made that help improve the ownership experience compared to what they offered in the past. But rarely do you take a vehicle out for a test drive and actually notice the differences, especially for cars and crossovers that still have the same underpinnings and interiors. For 2022, Mazda updated the popular CX-5, giving it a minor facelift, while also upgrading the mechanical components to enhance the driving dynamics and ride quality. With aspirations of becoming a luxury brand on the horizon, Mazda wants to make it known that their vehicles stand out from the competition, and with the minor alterations they've made to this crossover, it could very well be one of the best in this segment. So here are 5 reasons why you should buy a 2022 Mazda CX-5. With the current generation CX-5 being with us for around 6 years or so, and the Mazda brand switching gears to becoming more of a luxury manufacturer in the near future, it was about time for this crossover to receive some exterior updates, to not only showcase where the design language is heading for the next round of vehicles to be produced, but also to give us a tiny glimpse at what the new CX-50 will look like when they arrive later this year. Mazda didn't go too overboard with the cosmetic refresh, as the CX-5 still looks relevant and modern in 2022. But with a new LED headlight and taillight design, this compact crossover does appear to be slightly more upscale than in the past. A minor alteration to the front fascia, the fog lights have been removed, consequently giving the CX-5 sharper body lines and making the lower air vent streamlined. Not showcased on the model we featured, 2022 ushers in a full paint finish for the signature trim, to once again let us know that Mazda is serious about being seen as a luxury brand. And for turbo models, gloss black accents will replace the plastic cladding, following in the footsteps of Kia, who did the same with the Sorento. While you may have to take a closer look to notice the new road presence for the CX-5, this crossover continues to be competitive in this segment, even with rivals experiencing changes of their own as this market evolves for the 2020s. Where Mazda has been able to find their place in the automotive market is by filling the void that sits between consumer vehicles and luxury segments, as there's few mid-tier brands that can give you exceptional interior comfort and quality without paying over $40,000. Now, we all know that the CX-5 is going to fall short when it comes to utility and practicality. But where this crossover excels is with this minimalistic yet premium cabin. Not only are you greeted by softer touch materials for the armrests and dashboard compared to rivals, but you'll also receive leather seats, which are standard for all trims except for the base and select models. While not aggressively bolstered, they provide great support and complement the rest of the interior quite nicely. Despite being one of the smaller crossovers in this segment, shoulder room up front for average-sized adults is sufficient, and likely you're not going to feel too claustrophobic. Untouched for the 2022 model year is the technology, which we would like to see get updated, as the lack of a touchscreen does take away from the user-friendliness. But on the flip side, the rotary dial and quick access buttons will help keep your eyes on the road ahead. Keep in mind that when paired with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, it will take some time to get used to, as apps tend to lose their intuitiveness without a functioning touchscreen. All in all, for what you're paying for at around $35,000, you'll have a difficult time finding better in terms of quality when cross-shopping rivals in the compact crossover market. The 2022 Mazda CX-5 is quite different than prior model years, despite some minor cosmetic improvements to the exterior that likely makes you question what has changed. The CX-5 and Mazdas in general have always been known to have stiffer suspensions and nicely weighted steering compared to its Japanese and American rivals, reflecting more of a European style of driving. However, that rigidity has been noted by many, both consumers and critics. And for 2022, Mazda listened by focusing on the dampers to help add softness to the ride quality when going over imperfections in the road, and that was immediately noticeable. Yet, while there was added cushioning to give drivers an elevated experience when navigating city streets or suburban roads, Mazda stiffened the chassis even more, which to be quite honest isn't as apparent, as you'll still encounter body roll when cornering, even at normal speeds. A lot of the improvements to the suspension are mostly intended to make the CX-5 feel premium and upscale, rather than a typical crossover in this price range. In doing so, road noise has been reduced compared to last year, even with the 19-inch wheels that come standard on the Carbon Edition that we recently featured. While Mazda has emphasized going in a luxury direction, the CX-5 is beginning to play the part, and considering that this crossover is still using the same platform, it's remarkable that the engineers were able to find ways to alter the driving dynamics to a point where they are in fact impactful. If you've watched our Mazda reviews, you know that the 6-speed automatic transmission that's paired with a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine isn't our favorite, and that there's better traditional automatics in this market. While complaints should be kept to a minimum as some competitors use CVTs, the CX-5 is one of those vehicles that deserved smoother gear shifts, and thankfully Mazda listened. As part of the mechanical tweaks, the 6-speed received an update, where now it's more responsive, especially in sport mode. More impressive is that for non-turbo models, the CX-5 is enjoyable to drive, and accelerations are slightly more engaging compared to last year. We'd often recommend paying extra for the better powertrain in the past for the exhilarating driving experience. But we're happy to report that if you desire to own a Carbon Edition, the naturally aspirated 2.5-liter 4-cylinder is more than adequate to enter highways and cruising on back roads. In conjunction with the retooled suspension, the CX-5 builds off the intangibles it provides, as it may not be the most practical or spacious crossover in this market, but for its price point it has become quite the appealing option if you're looking for a comfortable daily driver. When cross-shopping the Mazda CX-5 with the Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4, obviously you're going to have pros and cons, mainly associated with interior space and overall practicality. But where the CX-5 provides the most amount of value to consumers is by offering a taste of luxury at an affordable price point, but also having a driving experience that isn't disengaging. Thanks to its heavier weighted steering and traditional automatic, the CX-5 is a pleasure to drive regardless of which powertrain you choose. Then factor in interior comfort, and now you have a compact crossover that at the very least gives you the perception that it's more premium than rivals. Most importantly, Mazda listened to the criticism buyers had in the past, finding ways to improve this crossover to where the rigid suspension isn't a detriment to the ride quality, nor is the 6-speed taking away from the driving experience when accelerating. Despite being at a size disadvantage compared to other vehicles in this segment, the CX-5 is still a great value. And if you aren't too concerned about the less cargo space behind the second row seats and relative lack of legroom for passengers, this could very well be the perfect commuter crossover for you. We hope you enjoyed this quick buyer's guide for the 2022 Mazda CX-5. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos like this one. And if you're interested in buying a CX-5 or any other compact crossover, make sure to check out our full reviews to help you find your next vehicle. And thanks for watching.